Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for tuning in with me today. So in today's video I wanted to share with you guys my top recommendations for the upcoming Sephora spring sale event. So this sale is happening in the US and in Canada. In Europe we already had our Sephora sale. It was like 3 weeks ago. And I completely forgot to actually make a video. So I thought to myself, you know what, I'm just gonna wait until the US sale is happening because the majority of my audience is actually from the US. So here we are now, and I'm gonna give you all the details real quick. So this sale is actually happening from April 5th until April 15th. Now, depending on what tier you guys are, you can get up to 20%. So Rouge members will get 20%. VIB members are going to get 15%, and insiders are going to get 10%, and there's also 30% off for the entire Sephora collection, so for their in-house brand basically. Fun fact is, when I had a look at Sephora US and I compared it to some of the Sephoras that we have here in Europe, I realized that maybe our selection in terms of brands is not better than the US, but our sale is better. For example, I'm a Rouge member here in Europe and we call it a gold member, and we get 25% off. So that's kind of like a little bit of a difference there. I mean, honestly, if you shop a lot at Sephora, I still think it's worth it, but that was one difference that, I immediately noticed. So I will say I have not tried everything that is available at Sephora, especially the brands that are exclusively only available in the US. Some of the brands, I've still tried them out because I picked them up at different retailers. So I did not really get them at Sephora, but I still have them. So I feel like I have a really good selection of different brands, although there might be one or two brands that are kind of like reoccurring just because I love them so much. And I just wanted to throw out there, if you do need an in-depth review on a brand that is featured in today's video, and if I have filmed a full face review on that brand, I'm going to be doing my best to link all of the videos of all of the brands I'm going to be featuring in today's video in my description box down below, alongside with all of the products I have featured in today's video. I'm also going to be including some links in case you would like to shop something from the Sephora sale. I would definitely appreciate it if you could use some of my affiliate links. Now, none of these products were sent to me. I picked them up with my own money. However, those links are affiliate links, but they are generated through my partner over at Shop My Shelf. I do earn a small commission if you do purchase something via my link, and I do definitely appreciate that so much. So thank you if you decide to pick something up via my links. And also, if you do enjoy this video, please don't forget to give it a like, hit the subscribe button. I would absolutely love for you guys to join. And don't forget to ring the bell in order to get notified about my upcoming videos. And please do let me know, do you guys have any Sephora recommendations? Have you tried out any of the products that I'm featuring in today's video? Or what is on your wish list? Are you actually planning to shop the sale? Yes or no? I would be really intrigued to know, so please don't forget to drop me a comment down below. So I'm going to be doing this category by category, and I'm going to give you my top 3 products in each of them. Now, I have definitely cheated in some categories, especially if there's like cream, liquids, and powder options. There might be more than 3 recommendations in those categories, but I really tried hard to limit myself. So I'm going to do this in the way as if I would apply my products. So let's actually kick it off with the primer category. Let's kick it off with maybe my all-time favorite primer. And this is literally of all time. This is not just at Sephora. This is a primer that I swear by, that I have continuously mentioned throughout the time here on YouTube, and I just love it. When this was released, I immediately picked this one up, and ever since I got so addicted to this because this really works with so many different foundations. And this is the Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Primer. I actually picked this one up in the jumbo size. I started off actually with the regular size, and I just thought to myself, you know what, I just love this product so much. It's just worth it for me because I use this a lot. I just love this because this is more like a gel consistency, but it kind of blurs my skin. It really just gives me a smooth base to work on. And although this might not be like the most mattifying primer that I've ever tried out in my entire life, I feel like it definitely does something to prolong my makeup wear. Most definitely. It's not a gripping primer or anything, but I just feel like whenever I'm using this product, my makeup just holds up so much better. Getting like 20% off of this is definitely worth it. And also Hourglass is a brand that is going to be quite reoccurring in this video because I just love so many products by them. And I recently actually filmed a full face of Hourglass. So if you're intrigued by this brand, again, the link is going to be in the description box down below, okay? But this is top notch. I love it. And then I also have two other primers that I definitely love, but those are like recent discoveries. So the other one is by the Nasa Myrix, and this is her Yummy Skin Water Powder Serum. So the good thing about this is you can actually put this on and then put another primer on top of it. I don't have the oiliest skin in the world, but I always prefer a mattified base, and I like some oil control because I do get a little bit oilier throughout my T-zone throughout the day. And ever since I have incorporated this into my makeup routine, and believe me, I've been using this every day because this does the trick. My skin does not get as oily anymore, especially not around here. Like the T-zone, it is just working so well for me and for my skin. It should really be called oil controlling rather than mattifying, because I don't think it's the most mattifying or blurring product in the world, but it keeps my oils at bay throughout the day. And that is worth so much. So I could use this, and I'm gonna just wait for like 1 or 2 minutes until the product has completely absorbed. And then I can go on top of it with this one, for example, or with the next one. The next one is also something that I would definitely recommend if you kind of enjoy the type of primers that I do. This is so good. This is also a recent discovery. This is by Iconic London, and it's the Velvet Smooth Pore Refining Primer. Wow, this is so blurring. This is so nice. This is not gonna dry out your skin because this has like this fluffy sort of cloud-like texture to it, and it's just gonna smooth out every pore. And I was so impressed when I used this the very first time around. And if you have watched any of my recent videos, you saw me applying this primer. And this is working such magic because I feel like this is not only blurring, but it's also a mattifying primer. Now, I love combining these two. I love them. I really think they do something amazing. Maybe this one is a little bit more hydrating just due to the fact that this is more of like a gel consistency, whereas this one, it almost feels like a little bit more balmy without greasy. Okay, this is not greasy at all. Otherwise, I would not like it. If you kind of like don't vibe with my recommendations, I'm very sorry, but I'm not somebody who's trying out a lot of glowy primers. Really not. Maybe the Milk Hydro Gripping Primer. I used to really like that one. And that one is a little bit more hydrating, but that's also a gripping primer. I don't have it right now, but I just know that's a good one if you have maybe a little bit drier skin and if you want something a little bit more glowy. But yeah, these three are definitely my personal favorite ones. I love them so much. But all right, so let's move on to the next category. Let's move on to the foundations. So for this category, I just realized that I chose foundations that kind of have like more of a natural finish. None of them are necessarily a flat matte, and none of them are extremely dewy. So let's maybe start with my all-time favorite foundation that is sold at Sephora, and that one is the Rose Ink Soft Light Skin Smoothing Liquid Foundation. This made it into my best of 2023 video. I freaking love this. I am wearing this foundation right now. I love the texture. The texture is not too runny. It is not too thick. It's a nice in-between. Blends out like a dream. I'm always using a dampened sponge to apply this. And this is gonna give you a beautiful sort of medium coverage with a nice natural finish. I really like the fact that this is quite long wearing on my skin. This does not break up on me, especially if I'm using those primers. I'm using the shade Light Cool 7C. It's a really good shape match. I really think this is amazing. I really do enjoy this one a lot. And then another foundation that I think is quite overlooked because it's not like a new product or anything, but it's such a good one and I really, really like it. And that is the Beauty Blender Bounce Liquid Whip Longwear Foundation. I know, I've got the old packaging. This comes in a tube right now. This is the packaging that they discontinued. I like this foundation a lot because this foundation also gives me kind of like a medium coverage. It kind of has like the exact same coverage level than this one. I feel like you can definitely build both of these up to your liking, but I feel like when I'm building this one up too much, it kind of gets a little bit shinier on me than this one. However, both of them are not excessively dewy or shiny or none of that. Otherwise, I would not include them in this video because I actually don't really like excessive glow and excessive shine. I mean, I've said that like a billion times right now, okay? But this is just a natural finish, medium coverage. You can build this one up, very long wearing. It's just beautiful. I've got this in the shade 2.10C. Now I will say though, this shade is a little bit deep on me, so I actually do have another shade here. So I did pick up the shade 1.50 this winter. This is not good for me in the winter time, but when I mix a little bit of this with this shade, it's working out perfectly. I also have something that is a little bit newer to me, that is by no means a new release or anything, but that is a skin tint, and I actually really enjoy this one. And this one is by Fenty Beauty, and it's the Ease Drop Blurring Skin Tint. Oh my gosh, I recently purchased this one and I have to say I'm impressed with this. This definitely has more of a light coverage. It has also a little bit more of a natural finish. I would not say that this is necessarily too matte or it's like too dewy. It's somewhere in between, but I feel like if you have oilier skin, you may appreciate this because it's really difficult to find a skin tint that is not glowy, like excessively glowy. This still is a little bit radiant, but not to an extreme. When I powdered this down, when I powder all of these down, you know, they just look like the finish that I enjoy. But if you just want something very skin-like, like something like your skin but better, this is amazing. This is fantastic. I've been really enjoying this. And also this is very long wearing for a skin tint, because that's another problem I have with light coverage is I feel like my skin is just eating up the makeup and it just disappears on me, and this does not do that. I have this in the shade 4, and I think that's also a light with cool undertones. I'm not sure if this is going to be a good shade match in the summertime. We'll have to see how I'm tanning, but for the wintertime, this was perfect. But let's move on to 3 concealers that I've been loving. So maybe let's just start off with this one. This one is the one where I'm like, I don't want to put this underneath my eyes. This is way too dry. But this is the best spot concealer I've ever tried. And this is also by Hourglass, and this is the Vanish Airbrush Concealer. This might be one of the most pigmented concealers I've ever tried, but it's not looking good underneath my eyes. Maybe if you have very smooth eyes, if you don't have fine lines underneath your eyes, maybe you can pull this one off. This will definitely give you an insane amount of coverage with very, very little product. And if you've never tried this one out and you've been looking for a concealer that has just a beautiful finish, this also has more of like a natural kind of finish, maybe you're gonna love this. And I've got this in the shade Pearl. If you're looking for a spot concealer, and again, if you have smooth under eyes, maybe yes. But yeah, I just love this if I have something really red and I need to cover it up. This is the one that I'm going to be reaching for the most. Then I have 2 other concealers that I love for underneath my eyes. This one might be the one that I have repurchased the most, and this is by Lawless, and it's the Conceal the Deal concealer. I love this for underneath my eyes. This is giving me like medium coverage, so I'm always using a little bit more, but it's giving me enough coverage to be happy with. I love the texture. This blends out like a dream. This makes my under eye look so smooth, so flawless. I just really think this is also kind of like an underrated product. It's not too creamy, it's not too thick, it is not too thin, because if something is too thin, I usually don't like it because it's immediately creasing on me. I've been loving this for so long, and I think mine is about to be empty again. And I have this in the shade Ballad. And yeah, this is more of also leaning a little bit pinky peach, but it's perfect for underneath my eyes. It's a perfect shade match. The next concealer is a newer concealer, and this was also in my best of 2023. And it's by Natasha Denona. It's her High Glam Concealer. And I really like this. First off, the shade range is so extensive. It leans a little bit more fair. Like if you go with like a very fair shade, it's gonna be very, very, very fair. So I have this in R5, meaning this is a rosy undertone and it's level 5. I really think this is also like the Lawless one. Both of these are quite similar. The only difference here is that this one, unfortunately, contains a little bit of fragrance, which I don't necessarily love for underneath my eyes. But the good thing is when you have this one opened for like a week or so, the fragrance kind of goes away. And I've repurchased this, okay? Although it has fragrance, but if you want something without fragrance, these two don't have fragrance. This one does. Although this one is described as medium coverage, I feel like this is gonna give you full coverage straight away. Maybe not as much as my Hourglass one, but this has definitely some coverage to it. You don't need that much product. And I've recommended this multiple times already on my channel just because I really do enjoy this one. So let's actually move on to the setting powders. Again, I have 3 setting powders that I absolutely do adore. Let's start off with one that is a little bit newer to me, but I have fallen in love with this so hard because this is just everything I ever wanted in a setting powder. This is so stunning. This is by One Size and it's the Ultimate Blurring Setting Powder. I've got the one in Ultra Pink. Now they have different sizes available and different shades to them. I think there's also a translucent shade if you are not vibing with the pink sort of powder. This is very mattifying without giving you cake face. And this is just a powder that is there to stay. If you've been looking for something that is strong, it's so finely milled, it just blurs your skin, it sets your makeup, it's just so long lasting. I love it. And also, this is massive. 34.5 grams, so 1.2 ounces of product. That is so much powder. Like, that's a lot. I definitely regret that I was not trying this one out sooner. Same goes for the next one. The next one is also really pretty. Now, there's a lot of different versions with this, and we're about to talk about Bare Minerals. And this is the original Mineral Veil Pressed Setting Powder. I've got the shade Translucent. In the beginning, I thought, oh, this is not going to give me a white cast. And even in my Bare Minerals review on the Bare Pro Foundation, the one that they are not carrying at Sephora, I did mention that this did not give me a white cast. Well, it did not give me a white cast on that foundation. But when I used this on top of the Rose Ink one, on top of the Beauty Blender one, I was like, oh damn, now it actually does give me a little bit of a white cast. So I would suggest pick up a tinted shade with this. They also have this one in the loose version. Here is the loose version. I just wanted to have mentioned it. Now, personally, I do prefer the pressed version, but the loose version is also amazing. I feel like Bare Minerals has fantastic setting powders. Their setting powders are really good. Just be reminded that, you know, if you have very deep skin or even like medium skin, you may not enjoy this shade, but it's available in different shades. So just go with a tinted one, but this powder is so beautiful. This is so finely milled. This is also blurring. This really does keep my oil under control, and it's so good at blurring, at setting my makeup. And this will not like get weird on you throughout the day. This will just look smooth until the end of the day. This is such an amazing powder. I was sleeping on this powder for the longest time, although I've been loving a lot of Bare Minerals products. Now the next one is also a really pretty powder, but it's not the best for my skin type, so to speak, but I've been loving it. And I'm talking about the Kosas Cloud Set Powder. I mean, I've been using this quite a lot. This usually has like a dome to it. Mine is completely flat. This is really pretty if you have drier skin. And although I don't have dry skin, I still think this is an amazing one. This is still so good. I have this in the shade Breezy. I feel like it's more of a setting powder than any sort of like coverage powder, okay? So this is matte and finish, yes, but it's not necessarily mattifying you throughout the day. It really depends on the foundation. If I'm using a foundation that is a little bit more matte and finish, I can definitely use this powder. It's beautiful. It's a good one and I love it. All right, those were all of the products that were meant for the base. So let's move on to some complexion color products. So maybe let's start off with the bronzer category. So maybe let's actually start off with some contouring products. Now I do have two cream contours that I actually really do enjoy. The first one is a little bit of an expensive product. So I also feel like this could be definitely worth picking this up during the sale event. So this is by Westman Atelier. This is the Face Trace Contour Stick in the shade Biscuit. Now, I think she also came out with minis. So if you don't want the big size, maybe just try a mini first. This is a beautiful cream contour shade. Now, if you do want to hear my full-fledged thoughts on my entire cream contour collection, I actually made an entire video on my cream contour collection. So every cream contour product that I own, I compared all of them to each other. So if you're interested in that, I'm gonna link this video up here, because I feel like, you know, might be worth checking out if you are into contouring products, if they are cream. And this one was also included in that video, and also the next product that I'm about to talk about. So beautiful formula, beautiful shade. This cream is just absolutely stunning. This product is also one of my favorite products from the brand. I also have an entire full face review on Westman Atelier that you can find in my description box down below in case you're interested, because Westman Atelier is available at Sephora. So this is also a brand where I feel like 20% off are definitely going to be worth it. This one is definitely warmer than the next one. I'm actually wearing that shade right now on my face though. I love this product so much. It's by Milk Makeup and it's the Sculpt Stick. I know this is tiny. This is so small. They used to have these big bronzer sticks, but they never had this shade it's toasted, right? Yeah. The shade Toasted never existed in that format, but this is such an ultimate cool toned contouring cream. I really like the formula. I love the fact that this is very cool toned. This is just gonna give you the best illusion of creating a shadow ever. Look, you're still gonna get 5.7 grams of product in this tiny sort of packaging. This one, I mean, it looks a lot bigger, right? But don't be fooled, because you're only gonna get 6 grams in the Westman Atelier. So they're almost the same. So I would definitely recommend both of these. It really just depends on what shade you would like. Now, let's move on to another cream bronzer that I love so much. This is so amazing. And one of those shades was also in my cream contour collection video. And this one is actually by Rare Beauty. It's the Warm Wishes Effortless Bronzer Stick. Now I've got this in two shades here. I have the shade Bright Side. I think that one was in the contouring video. And the shade Happy Soul here. This one is definitely more of like my bronzing shade. They've got a couple of shades here. And usually I reach more for a powder product in general. I don't necessarily reach that much for like a cream bronzer, but sometimes I do. But if I'm reaching for one for bronzing purposes, it's definitely this Rare Beauty one. I think this is so beautiful. It feels almost like whipped. This again has this beautiful sort of like whipped texture. It's so effortless to blend out. Their bronzer stick, definitely one of my favorite products out of their line. Love it, I really do. So those were the 3 cream products. So let's actually move on to some powder products. And of course, again, the reoccurring brand here, Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer. I've got this in the shade Diffuse Bronze Light. Now I've got a mini. And I should have picked this one up in a bigger size during the sale here in Europe, but I slept on it. So now I've got to wait for another sale because I have the mini and it's almost empty. Like, I've been using this so much. I love this bronzer. And this was such a good shade. This is definitely a little bit more on the cool toned side. Then another powder bronzer that I really do adore is by House Labs, and it's the Power Sculpt Velvet Bronzer. Love the packaging here. I mean, I've got this in the shade Medium Level 5. This is like a baked gelée powder, and it's so nice. It's so beautiful on the skin. This shade in particular works on me so well. I do think this has a little bit more of a rosier undertone as well. I don't like bronzers that lean orange on my skin. I really don't like it. So those were the contour and bronzer products that I adore. So let's move on to the category that I'm dreading because I had so many different products and I really had to limit myself here because so many brands make amazing blushes. So I have some cream options, some liquid options, and some powder options as well. So the first product here is going to be by the NASA Myrix. It's the Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder Flushed Matte Color for Cheek and Lip, okay? I've got this in the shade Rosé and Brunch. I really love this formula. First off, this is such a beautiful shade. I really think this is maybe the prettiest shade out of the range. The reason why I like this cream blush so much is because this is one of the most long-wearing cream blushes on my skin. My skin loves to eat up cream blush. This one is not going to go anywhere. This is so long wearing. It's absolutely stunning. I love the formula on this. I think this was also in my best of 2023 video. I really adore it. I think it's fantastic. It's a really good product by the NASA Myrix. Then I also really adore this one. And this one is by Wonder Beauty and it's the On The Glow Blush and Illuminator. So this is like one of these double-sided products. And I think they also changed the packaging. It's a little bit of an older product, but I love it. I did not know that Wonder Beauty was actually sold at Sephora in America. We don't have Wonder Beauty here in Europe, okay? But I thought, oh my gosh, I love this product. I need to include it in this video because I feel like not a lot of people are talking about this product and it's so fantastic. Now, this is the highlighter, the cream highlight. I don't really enjoy cream highlighters that much. So this is just kind of meh for me. But if you enjoy a cream highlighter, it's nice. I just don't really like cream highlighters. But this blush is so nice. I gotta like twist it up because I've been using this quite a lot. This is such a beautiful shade. It's the shade Bear. It's so nice. This formula, amazing. It is also kind of like more blurring on the skin and it's so long lasting. So this is the NASA Myrix and this is the Wonder Beauty one. This one has a little bit more pink in it, right? This also is a little bit more of a buildable formula. I mean, you can build up to the NASA Myrix one, but that one is a little bit more pigmented. I also feel like the finish on this might be a little bit more radiant than this. This is definitely more of like a matte cream blush. If you were in love with the Lila B cream blushes, do you guys still remember those? I felt like this was such a good dupe for those because the formula is very similar. All right, but those were the cream blushes and we're not going to be moving on to the powders straight away because there's also another category called liquid blushes. And usually I really don't like anything liquid. I don't like a liquid bronzer. I don't like a liquid highlighter. But I kind of like liquid blushes. And there are two at Sephora that are definitely worth mentioning because I think those formulas are stunning. And of course, the very first one is by Rare Beauty and it's the Soft Pinch Liquid Blush. I mean, this is probably a bestseller at Sephora, but Rare Beauty really nailed it when it comes to these blushes. These are so pigmented and the way I like to apply them is I definitely put them on my hand first, then I take a brush, I work it into the brush and then I apply it. Don't put this product on your cheeks straight away. You're gonna get into trouble here. But also these shades that I have that I love the most, I feel like these are also not the most pigmented ones because those were added later to the line, like those were later releases, but I love all three of those. This is the shade Hope that I like, and then also the shade Encourage, and maybe my favorite one is the shade Believe. This is such a beautiful sort of like mauvey shade. It's amazing. So the next one is definitely a little bit easier to use. So if you've never used a liquid blush, maybe this would be like a good one to start with. And this one is by Say Beauty and it's the Dew Blush. And I've got the shade Dreamy. I love this shade. Again, kind of like my shade that I vibe with the most. I really love it. This is a beautiful formula. It is definitely less pigmented than the Rare Beauty one, but it's kind of like similar in texture. And in the beginning, I was very much like afraid of this product because it's called Dew. I feel like, yeah, it has a little bit of a natural sort of finish to it. Maybe even more so than the Rare Beauty ones. but nonetheless, it works beautiful. And if I have to, I can still powder this down. This is such a beautiful formula. I would definitely recommend this product. It's very long lasting. It looks beautiful on the skin. And I think this is one of the best products that YAYSAVE has ever released. All right, so let's actually move on to the next category. Let's move on to the powder blushes. So one of my all-time favorite powder blushes is actually available at Sephora. I've got so many shades. I think I've got the entire range, to be honest. Maybe not the entire one, but I've got a lot of shades. This one is by Lawless, and it's the Make Me Blush Velvet Blush. This is my favorite shade. This is the one that I'm actually wearing right now. It's the shade Vintage Love, like this dusty, mauvey, rosy shade. I also really like a newer shade by them, Daisy Pink. If you wanted a cool tone sort of pink blush, this one, I really do adore this. And they have like medium pigmentation, so you can definitely build them up, but they're also not that sheer that you continuously have to dip in, and it's not doing anything. They will definitely show up, but they are a very buildable formula. If you love a good matte blush, try this formula out. You won't be disappointed, I promise you. Now, if you enjoy something a little bit glowier, I got you covered with this one. It's by Hourglass. Those are the ambient lighting blushes. And I've got this in the shade At Night, which is a little bit more of a terracotta sort of red shade. And I also have, my favorite shade here is Mood Exposure. I cannot talk about like blushes, bronzers, and highlighters without mentioning Hourglass. So they are so good, and 20% off is definitely worth it with them. Those were all of my blush recommendations when it comes to the products that are available at Sephora. So let's actually move on to the highlighters. So as I mentioned before, I am not the biggest fan of a cream highlighter, but if I would recommend one product that I definitely do adore so much, it is a cream, it would be this one. And I think, again, this is definitely worth picking up during the sale, because this also does not come in a travel size. This is quite a pricey product. And this is by Westman Atelier, and it's the Super Loaded Tinted Highlight. I've got this in the shade Peau de Rosé. This is my favorite highlighting product by Westman Atelier. They also have a stick. I don't like that one whatsoever. Their lit up highlighter or something, that one just, it just looked so greasy on me. I did not like it, but this is so beautiful. You can also use this on the lips. It is just so stunning on the skin, on my skin tone. This works so well. They've got a couple of other shades. They also have a peachy one. They've got a bronzy one. This literally melts into the skin effortlessly and seamlessly. And that's what I love about this. It's a really good one. I would definitely recommend it if you do want to splurge. So let's talk about some powder highlighters. Let's just start off with the obvious one, okay? So this is the Ambient Strobe Lighting Powder. I've got this in the shade Iridescent. I love this highlighter. This highlighter is so beautiful. They also have a different version of this. This might be my favorite one. This is the one that is a little bit more beaming, a little bit more metallic, has a little bit more of a metallic finish. I also like their ambient lighting palette, or whatever it's called. Love that one as well. I'm just going to put it right here. Cannot go wrong with an Hourglass complexion powder product. You just can't. But also with this brand, I really like this powder highlighter. This is very intense. So this is by Rare Beauty, and it's the Positive Light Silky Touch Highlighter. I've got this in the shade Enlighten, and it's the Polly Pocket sort of packaging. It's like their lightest shade. Man, this highlighter is beaming. Like, you gotta have a light hand when you apply this, because this is so metallic. It is very much like wet looking though. I really love it, but it's very easy to go like overboard with this straight away. Another thing that I love about this is I like using this as an inner corner highlight for my eye look. You know what? Let's just actually do that, because today I did not use this, and I really want to show you how beautiful this product is. Just a little bit here. Look at that. It's just crazy how good this is for an inner corner highlight. I mean, it's so effective. I really love using it for that purpose as well. If I just want a little bit of a highlight in my inner corner, in my eye look, half of the time I'm reaching for this. Another amazing powder highlighter, and this actually is marketed as a highlighting blush, but the shade that I have, you can definitely pull this one off as a highlighter, and I'm also using it like a highlighter. That one is by Bare Minerals, and it's the Gen Nude highlighting blush. I've got this in the shade Opal Glow. You don't necessarily have to use this as a blush because this is pretty sheer. I also even put this on my nose. I think it works so well. This is like wet glow, and it's not too much immediately. You can definitely build this one up. This might be my favorite one out of all of them. But all right, those were all of the complexion color products. To be honest, I was dreading this category. So let's actually move on to the next one. Let's talk about some eye products. And maybe let's start off with the eyebrows. So in terms of eyebrows, this was such a no-brainer to me because these are maybe my two favorite products of all time. So let's start off with a pencil that I would highly recommend if you want something that fills in your brows and that looks just amazing. If you have a lot of sparse brows, you would love and adore this. Now, also if you have very thin brows, you would absolutely love this product. And this one is by Rare Beauty, and it's the Brow Harmony Precision Pencil. Now, I have this in the shade Rich Taupe. I basically use this almost every single day, unless I'm trying out a new eyebrow pencil, but this is my go-to pencil of all time. I just love and adore this one. The way the pigmentation sticks onto my skin, I can literally take the spoolie and run the spoolie through, and the pigmentation is not going to disappear, but it's just going to get diffused and dispersed a little bit in my brow, and it just looks amazing. The formula is fantastic. One of the best eyebrow products, pencils that I've ever tried in my entire life. I repurchased this and I've got some in stock because I don't want to run out. I need an eyebrow pencil every day, so I always reach for this one because I can trust this one the most and I love it. Same goes for my you know what's gonna come. I mean, why would I even have to mention this? If you've watched any of my videos, you guys know that this is the brow gel that I use since years. And this is by Kosas, and it's their Air Brow. Now, I've got the tinted version. I have the shade Soft Brown. This is like a medium hold gel, but this can also fill in your brows in case you don't have like very sparse brows and you just want a little bit of volume. This is amazing for that. They also have a clear version if you don't want a tinted version, but I just love this formula. This is just so reliable because this is not clumpy, it's not waxy. It's really like a gel. It dries down, it looks amazing. You can't feel this. That's the best one. And I've tried so many, and I feel like this still my number one. When this was released, I immediately picked it up, and ever since, I don't think anything can beat this. So these two products were definitely no-brainers to me. But the next category, that gave me a headache, to be honest, because we're going to be talking about the eyeshadows now. And in terms of eyeshadow palettes, now, I don't have the best experience when it comes to the eyeshadow palettes that are available at Sephora, just due to the fact that I'm an indie eyeshadow palette lover. And the brands that are available at Sephora, they are very pricey. Yeah, if you want something exciting, you're going to pay for it. So I'm still going to be sharing some of the products that I'm familiar with, but just know I might not be the best person to give you any sort of like recommendations here because I have not tried everything out. So let's talk about the two new to me. I mean, one of them is also a new release. Eyeshadow palettes that are available at Sephora that I've tried out recently. Now, there are also a couple of eyeshadow palettes available at Sephora that I've tried out in the past, but also I would not necessarily recommend these. But this one, this is the one that I'm wearing today. I actually really, really like it, but it's kind of like newer to me. It's by Huda Beauty. And if you watched my video where I was trying this one out, you might know that this was the very first time I've ever tried out anything by Huda Beauty. So I am getting into this brand a little bit more. I'm going to show you the inside in a close-up here. But yeah, this is the palette. I mean, I love these like grungy neutrals and then the combination of the silvers. I really like the shimmer formula as well. These have different textures. Some of them are more like putty and more creamy, and others are like traditional shimmer shades. I think this is a very beautiful color story, very beautiful formula, blends out like a dream. This is exactly the kind of neutral palette that I would go for. Another palette that I tried out recently, and I think honestly, if you want this, get this during the sale, because I don't really think that this is worth $50 because that's what it's retailing for. And that is the new Makeup by Mario Master Mattes the Neutrals palette. They also have this in a warm tone color story. This is more of a neutral leaning cool color story. This is just a bunch of mattes. So if you are very basic, if you were looking at this palette and you always want to try it, it's a really good formula. The only thing I will say, there's a lot of kickback in the pan. Honestly, I would just say buy it during the sale if you really, really, really want this. I'm not gonna say this is a must-have. So I have another product, which is a single eyeshadow. And I think this product is definitely worth it. And I do have a lot more experience with this brand. I mean, you saw this brand so many times in this video already. And this is a brand that I love. And I mean, I'm talking about Hourglass again, okay? So this is the Hourglass Scattered Light Glitter Eyeshadow. These are singles, but man, these are fantastic. If you are a one and done eyeshadow girl, if you just want something sparkly on your eyes, if you don't care about the palettes, this is a treat. Especially my favorite shade. This is the shade Ray. I actually applied this in my Hourglass video, my full face. It is so beautiful. This is such an amazing formula. These glide on to your eyelids. They look so sparkly. And these are not like pressed glitters, okay? They have a base to them. So don't get me wrong here because it says glitter eyeshadow. They are just very sparkly, very shimmery. Really amazing formula, amazing products and beautiful shades. Okay, so let's move on to some mascaras. I have two for this category. I have repurchased these products multiple times already. So let's start off with this one. I love this one. This is by Say. This is the 101 mascara. Such an overlooked product, but this is one of my favorite formulas ever. This is not too dry. This is not too wet. This is not going to smudge. It's not going to flake. It's not going to give you raccoon eyes. None of that. Otherwise, these wouldn't be my favorite ones. This has like a smaller sort of silicone sort of bristle brush. I love this brush. I love this formula. This mascara is so fantastic. Mine is empty. Like, I honestly can't get anything out of here anymore. This is literally a hidden gem. It's that good. I freaking love it. Now, I also really do like this one. Again, it's gonna be by Hourglass, but are you guys surprised? Because I've been raving about this mascara for years on my channel now. So this is a tubing mascara and it's the Hourglass Unlocked mascara. That's my favorite tubing mascara of all time. This is actually the mascara that I'm wearing right now. It is so good. It also rinses off the way a tubing mascara should, which is you basically wet your fingers and then you take your lashes in between your fingers and you gently start rubbing and it's gonna come off in strings. However, this is not smudging, it's not flaking off, it's not doing any of that. It's so solid. I can rely on this product and I've been raving and loving this product for so many years. I'm just quickly going to show you the brush in case this is your very first time here on my channel. Yeah, it's a silicone brush, silicone bristle brush, like the Say one, just a different shape. This is actually the shape that I usually prefer in a mascara. These type of mascaras work so well for me, but this formula is unbeatable. It's so good. It's the best tubing mascara I've ever tried. And so yeah, of course this is gonna be in this video. Of course. Okay? It's so good. Don't get that caution mascara though. Be cautioned about that because I don't like the other mascara by Hourglass one bit. That is something that I don't like. I mean, you can try it out if you want to. I'm not telling you what to get and what not to get, but I'm just telling you it's nothing like this. This is so much better. The other one really disappointed me. Okay, not everything is amazing by Hourglass, but most of the products are, and for sure the ones in this video are. So this one is one of them. So those were all of my eye products. So let's move on to the last category. Let's move on to the lips. Let's actually start off with some lip liners. So this was also a no-brainer for me. I have two different brands that I just love their lip liners from. And the very first one is by Tower 28, and this is the multi-liner pencil. This is the shade Work of Art. And then I also have the shade Draw Me. This one is more of a deep brown, so I have to use a specific shade of brown to make this one work. But with this one, this works with most of my nude shades, and you guys may know I love a good nude lip. And this one is so good. It's like a little bit pinky brown. I freaking love this formula too. I never used this on my eyes. I never used this on my face. I solely use this as a lip liner. I feel like that's where it works the best for me personally. I have seen people using this on their cheeks, on their eyes, just prefer this on my lips. I love it. But my one holy grail lip liner formula, it's definitely by Lawless, and it's the Forget the Filler Definer liner. These liners are so good, and they had released a couple of months ago. They came out with some new shades, and I jumped on them. I'm actually wearing this shade today. This is the shade Nude Honey. This works with so many of my brownie nude shades. It's such a pretty liner. I freaking love it. These are creamy, but they are very long lasting. These are not gonna go anywhere, but I just don't like it if a lip liner is so stiff that I can't blend it out. And I actually got my mom a couple of these, and she loves them as well. And I asked her, was it easy for you to apply them? She was like, oh my gosh, effortless. I freaking love them. So she loves them as well. And Pink Slip, Honey Rose, and Nude Honey, those are my favorite ones in terms of colors because they work the best with lip products that I'm pairing them with, hands down. These are my favorite ones. So let's also talk about some lip treatment products that I really do like. Usually I use these overnight, but you could also use them during the day. So the very first one, again, also is by Lawless, and it's the Forget the Filler Overnight Lip Plumping Mask. I also do have their Forget the Filler lip glosses, which I would also recommend, but I almost feel like the lip category might be an homage to Lawless. So good. I've got 4 different flavors. That's how much I love this product. My favorite one might be one of the newer ones, which is Cinnamon Sugar. I purchased this during the winter, and I have dug into this. There's a lot of product. I feel like these are kind of hard to empty, and I use them religiously. This is not like a stinging, burning, or even like a tingling sensation. I just feel like these are cooling and without being minty. And then another product that is so hyped up, but honestly, I've been loving this since it was released, and I think this was back in 2022. And I'm wearing this shade in particular for overnight. And of course, I'm going to be talking about the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Bombs. But these are also worth the hype. I mean, I love this for overnight. This is the vanilla one. This is the clear one. They look so glossy on the lips. Like, these are just so juicy on your lips. And I also like the tinted one. This is brown sugar, but this has a tint more of like a muted mauve. It's so beautiful. And it literally smells and tastes like brown sugar. Like, really amazing. One of my favorite sort of like flavors for the lips ever. It's so fantastic. But this is definitely the one that I'm using more because I'm just using this as a treatment. But if it's really cold outside, I just love using this product in particular. I have not gotten any chapped lips ever because I do this overnight lip mask technique. And also this one is an oil-free product. So if you've been looking for an oil-free product, this is completely oil-free. I was a massive fan of this from the beginning on, so I did not really buy into the hype. I bought this straight away and I loved it straight away. I freaking love these. So amazing. If you've never tried them out and you want a good lip treatment, and this also looks so glossy on the lips. These look amazing. These are not tacky, they are not sticky, they are so fantastic. I would definitely recommend these. So let's maybe continue with some tinted balms, and this one is by Tower 28 and it's the tinted lip balm. I've got this in the shade Mix. Mine is so far down already. This shade is so beautiful. It's like a brownie mauve shade. This has a lot more pigment than I actually thought it would have. I was like wearing this a lot when I went to work. I also like this to just throw into my purse. And sometimes if I don't know what I should put on, if I have to be quick, I'm reaching for this. I also feel like this is a little bit overlooked, but this is one of my all-time favorite products by Tower 28 alongside with the lip liners. So really, really good product, fantastic. So let's move on from all of these balms to maybe some matte lip products. And let's start off with one of my favorite formulas and also the shade that I'm wearing today. This is one of my favorite lip products of all time. And this is by Rare Beauty, and it's the Lip Soufflé Matte Cream Lipstick. I mean, I've got so many of these. I freaking love them. I am actually wearing this shade today. This is the shade Elevate. I love this. This is such a beautiful, more like peachy brown nude. It's really pretty, so blurring. These are so comfortable. They feel like a souffle on your lips, literally. They are not drying. They just are so fantastic. If you like a good matte lip, don't sleep on these because this is so good. My favorite shade out of all of them is the shade Courage, which is just this beautiful sort of nude, dusty mauve. Again, I love those type of shades. And then I also really do enjoy this other shade here, which is the shade Kindness. These three are my favorite ones out of all of them. I think I also swatched them in my full face of Rare Beauty. Okay, we are almost at the end. I've got two more bullet lipsticks that I do adore, but these also have a matte finish. So this is by Makeup by Mario, and this is the Ultra Suede lipstick. I've got this in the shade Aaron. This is such a beautiful nude pinky shade. Online it looks a lot more like a cool tone brown. So beautiful. I've been loving this. I actually wore this on my birthday. That's how much I actually enjoyed this. I love this shade. I really want to try out more. These are fantastic. There's also a satin lipstick range that they are offering. I just did not really find a shade that I was interested in. I feel like they've got more nude shades in the Ultra Suede version. So if you don't vibe with this, maybe check that one out. But I would definitely recommend this product a lot. Let's move on to my last recommendation for today's video. And I feel like this is also a good one to conclude this entire video because I've been talking about this brand non-stop, so why not? It's by no other than Hourglass, and this is their Unlocked Matte Lipstick. It's a little bit more hydrating than the Makeup by Mario ones. It's so good. I have this in the shade Sparrow. This is like a beautiful rosy nude shade. It is so amazing. It's also so blurring. A beautiful matte without being a flat matte. I think this is such a good bullet lipstick. It's pricey. It's pricey. Okay, so this might, again, as with everything by Hourglass, it's pricey, so maybe worth picking up during the sale. And if you don't like a matte lipstick, I mean, I also have their moisturizing formula. So this is the Unlocked, I think they are called satin lipsticks. I've got this in the shade Alpine. Now, this is, to me, this formula is not my favorite one just because it's almost too moisturizing on my lips. But if you have dry lips and you can find a shade that you like, why not? I mean, I've got this Alpine one. It's not my favorite shade in the world, I've got to say. I definitely do prefer my matte one. This one, the Sparrow shade, so much prettier in my opinion. I mean, if you don't like the matte lipsticks, I at least hope I was able to give you some good lip balms and some good treatment products. I am exhausted. I really hope you enjoyed my recommendations, and please do let me know in the comment section down below if you are picking something up. Is there something on your wish list? Would you like to see what I picked up during the sale? I can definitely, make a video on the products that I was able to pick up because I feel like those are quite interesting products as well. And most of them I did not really talk about in today's video because I don't really have any experience with them yet. I need to try them out first. Please don't forget to drop me a comment down below. What are you guys picking up during the Sephora sale? Are you shopping it or not? Have you tried out any of my recommendations? Let me know. I would be really intrigued to know your feedback. And all of the products that I was just talking about are going to be listed in my description box down below. So thank you in case you are using my links. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button in case you made it that far and you're not subscribed just yet. I would absolutely love to have you on here. And don't forget to ring the bell in order to get notified about my upcoming videos. And until next time, please do take care. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.